bit of a treat at the end of this. I end up accompanying a young lad along the local bank there and witness him catch the biggest rainbow trout he has in his short career of the fishing cycle. And what impressed me most was how he ripped out the camera, did a quick selfie, released the fish back in, and it's something I would never have done, and I think it deserves a good thumbs up from me. And if you feel that same way, by all means, hit the thumbs up button yourself. If you're a learner thinking about your first bike, there are two that come to mind, and one of them would be a Honda CB125f, which is the bike you're looking at now, and that comes in at $3,600. Now the other bike in the same field is a Honda CB125E, and that comes in at $3,500. $100 splits both bikes brand new. Now if you're in the market, I don't think you'll get a CB125F used because they've only been out 3 or 4 months now. And the CB125E, they range in price, depends on people that are fairly optimistic, you could say, from $2,000, which is okay, I suppose, up to around about $4,000, which is highly inflated, if you ask me. So that'd be one thing there. Now, if you said to me, okay, you've been on quite a few bikes, what do you think? Well, if I compared the CB125E, which the daughter had, a 2020 model, and she paid $2,600 for it right away, I actually rode that bike and I didn't go much on it at all, to be honest. I think it was a fairly rubbish bike, and the reason it's a fairly rubbish type bike to ride would be because, and she bought hers brand new, because they got bad vibration in the bars when you're riding along at 80 kilometres an hour plus they're very hard bikes to start. And what I mean hard to start is they're only carby, and they take a terrible long time to warm up, because the one she had took at least 10 minutes to warm up from scratch. After that, it just cut out all the time, and it'd be a real hassle for a learner to get that under control. It's not a case like a fuel injector bike where you walk over, turn it on, press a button, it kicks over straight away, and in 30 seconds later you could say ride off. Not the case for the 125E. Now, I'm not jumping the gun on just one particular one, not the one she had. I know 2 other people who had the 125Es new, and they just couldn't handle the poor performance from that stock carby and how bad it was to ride from scratch. And they only kept theirs a little while and cashed them anyway and got rid of them. So that's what happened in that line. Now, my thoughts would be, if you're buying a used one, you know, and the 125E is the one you're looking at, I'd seriously think about riding other bikes in something else and use one a little bit older, maybe a bit older bike with better CCs, and get something a lot better bike than that, because I just found it a real terror bike. Didn't like it at all. In the end, I had a brand new 5-speed Grom, and I actually said to the daughter, you can take my new bike. And then she said, oh, do you want my 125E? I said, no, I'm not that desperate, because I'm not. And she put it on Gumtree, or I put it on Gumtree for her and sold it fairly quick. But that's the way it goes in that line. But why I would go 125F over a 125E would be 3 things. The vibration in the bars or in the pegs is very minimal compared to what's a 125E. It's fuel injected, so that's number 2, and that is the most important thing. The fuel injection and the fuel delivery is really good. It also comes with a 5-speed gearbox now, which is good, and it's a nice positive gearbox, and you can change gears really nicely, so you have no drama there. It's possibly more fuel efficient too, if that sort of thing sort of concerns you. And it's also got a gear indicator in the dash to let you know what gear is, which is very handy if you're a learner and you're going along and you don't know what gear it is. It's a real drama that way. But plus, look at this. It's even got a chain guard. So if you look at that way, the chain guard idea is good, because your chain will keep cleaner and you won't have to oil it as much. Now, another thing with this one, and where it beats the 125E, see this part here? It's got an external oil filter. So in other words, you can do your oil change, pull that filter off, put a new one in, and to give you an idea how much a filter this one needs, roughly about $5. So you can do an oil and filter change for under $20 yourself, and the bike will be nice and clean. You can ride it a bit further and stuff like that. So the other thing I was going to say is, out along the road, this one here cruises at 80 kilometres an hour all right. It'll go faster on flats, but if you say which one had the more power, I really think the 125E was a little bit more powerful, and it'll probably go a little bit quicker and hold speed out on the road a bit better. But overall not the best bike. So if you were a learner, this would be the way to go, and you're going to buy one new. This is a really good little bike, and it'll run along at 80 kilometres an hour. I had it up to 101 straight there, and no drama doing that either. So, but it is a bit handicapped when it gets to a hill, so you know, it slows it down a bit. And I never got the chance the 125E on hills, because after riding it 1 kilometre, I actually thought it was that bad. I just didn't want to ride it any further. So I'd already had a lot of trouble getting it started, and like I said, 10 minutes before we took off, while things were going on there. Then when I got onto the bike, she let that ride it out along the road, and I think I lasted, like I said, 1 kilometre, and the road was that rough, or vibey through the bars. I just said I don't want to be punished anymore. But, you know, that part mightn't worry you, so at least when you come to the review, I'm just telling you how it is and how truthful I'd like to keep things 100% straight with you. And, you know, if you're going out and you're sort of going to buy one of these and you want one to commute with around town, this bike's real nippy around town. The brakes are all right. It's got combined braking, so it's a drum system at the back which works with the disc at the front. So, you know, it works all right that way. It's got 18-inch wheels. It's only 115 kilos CB125F compared to the E. It's 140 kilos, so it's a lot heavier bike, you know, when you get up 140. And I actually think overall, when you look at it here now, it's a better looking bike than the E. I'm still surprised. I really don't know how they got 3,600 for the fuel injected E, fuel injected F I should say, and 3,500 for the E, because the E is highly overpriced when you think of it, because it hasn't got the 5-seat box, it hasn't got the new 125cc motor, it hasn't got fuel injection, no chain guard, no gear indicator, no nothing, just a basic bike which a couple of years back was only selling for 2,600, and prior to that it was only selling for 2,200, where anyone that sort of got a bit of idea on bikes would know that fuel injection is really the way to go for trouble-free motoring. And I hadn't started this bike now for a good 6 weeks, I'd say, and I've had, you know, it's only done 200 kilometres, but I hadn't started it for about 6 weeks, and I went out, pressed a button, it kicked over straight away, and they're very quiet when they're idling anyway. I might kick it over and just show you how quiet it is. So, got the keys out now, we'll whip her in, turn her on, press the button. Wait a minute, it's a bit better. Didn't actually put enough pressure on that button there when I pressed it. I was a little bit light there, so usually I'm used to those other buttons where you just got a little press button, but because I've got a few bikes, see, so you get used to riding them, and like I said, I hadn't been on this for 6 weeks. But apart from that, I think it's a really good value little bike, and it's nice, nimble, easy to handle, steers well, brakes all right with that combination of disc front and combined braking on the back with a drum. Doesn't look too bad with the red shockers on it. I think overall presents itself, you know, pretty good for what it is. And it's supposed to be really one of the most fuel efficient bikes on the market with 150 plus miles to the gallon, I think. Plus it's got a economy mode there on the dash to let you know. Now, while I was here going around, I seen a couple of guys walk past and they said they were going fishing. So if you want to tag along with me, just to make it a little bit more interesting, we'll go for a walk down this creek, down that way, and along that track, and we'll go down there and see if they do any good, because I was always keen on fishing once, and I'm always interested to see if anyone gets out there and catch a fish. I'd say probably their chances of catching anything are nil, but I haven't been fishing for 20 or 30 years, so I wouldn't know much about that side. But I asked them when they were there getting their stuff ready, mind if I tag along and have a look? So they said, yeah, that's fine. So I'll go along, see if they catch anything. And it should be a nice, pleasant walk along the bank, I suppose, provided we don't come across any wriggle sticks. But before we swing over to following these guys, is if you're in the market and you want to buy something new, or you can get onto a used CB125F if you're lucky enough, buy one of those. If you want something that you're not happy with up to 80 kilometres an hour, or a little bit slower, a tad slower in the hills, well, I suppose you could buy the E, or you could swing into a scooter or something to that effect, which may appeal to you that way. So I think brand new, you can get these in white, black or red. I don't mind the white with grey and red shocks. And I think after that, whoever comes along, it's got LED headlight too, so now it's got a few things on it which makes it a lot better value bike than the other one. So that's the best I can tell you at the moment on that bike. It'll be your choice after that. You might get some people come and say, oh, there's nothing wrong with the E. Well, the E's probably all right as far as a little bit, you know, it'll hold power a little bit better out on the road. But, you know, my honest opinion would be I'd rather have a fuel-injected 5-speed bike, the external oil filter and all that stuff, what I mentioned earlier on, any day, over a basic bike. It's got a little bit more power, but bad vibration and very hard to start. So once again, thanks for tuning in, taking a look. Hope you found this interesting. Let's flog onto the fishing and see if you can catch a fish, or if they can catch a fish or not. And either way, it should be a pleasant walk along the creek. Yeah, I'd reckon. Yeah. Plus that's a really good hole above it too. Yeah. Definitely nice hole.
Good one.
Good one, is it?
Yeah, really good. Oh. Oh my god. Oh, this is my personal, this is my favorite.
Wow, it is a pretty good rainbow too.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh. Oh. Oh.
That's a good rainbow.
That's my personal best.
I'd say so.
Oh my god.
That surprised me, that how good that that'd probably be 15 inches, something like that.
Yeah. Dad! You got a pretty sharp thing.
That is one really nice fish you got. Congratulations on that. It was pretty healthy looking too.
Yeah.
You did well on that one.
You get a good one, isn't it?
Yeah, nice fish.
What's that?
Yeah. I'm surprised how good a condition they're in.
Whoa.
Oh well, that'll be one happy fish. Look at that, gee, it took off really well.
Yeah. That's my personal best. That's the best trout I've ever caught.
Yeah, really good effort too. You've done well.
Oh.
You want me to put you on the YouTube channel or what?
Yes, buddy. That'd be good.
Huh?
Yeah.
All right.